Hey, so I'm back with game one, and we actually have one of the more interesting decisions to make that lots of people talk about, and it's been kind of a hot button topic, and I feel like I might go against what I've been saying. So, when we first started talking about turn one on the play meta sighting, turn one on the play meta sighting, as PTK said, can be either the best or the worst play you could make on turn one. So the theory behind this is if you turn one cast a Metasight, your opponent automatically knows you're on this controlling plan. You're not going to see effect of these things until later in the game. Obviously, just because you won't see effect until level 2. And then level 3, you'll have a steadier draw as well. And nothing happens level 1. So if your opponent can assess that and go on the beatdown immediately, you're so far behind because they're playing 2 creatures to your nothing, which is very strong, obviously. That's very hard to deal with. However, I've had times where my opponent has cast turn 1 Metasight and I'm not on a super aggressive deck and my draws don't allow for me to play out aggressively. And I can't capitalize. The game gets into level 3 and then they're just drawing all these high rank cards and you get that one hand that's all level 1s or has a level 2 and level 1s and level 3 and you just get blown away. So I feel like Metasight, judging by the last couple drafts I've been doing, people haven't been as readily on the beatdown as I had seen maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go ahead and cast this Metasight. I'm going to level Matrix Warden and Venom Fang. Venom Fang for the effect that it can 2 for 1 later, and Matrix Warden for the ability to put his pump wherever he wants. Matrix Warden is effectively just a better Vault Tactician. It has 1 less health at level 2, and I think it might be the same at level 3, but it has 1 more attack at level 2, and then is 2 attack more at level 3, I'm pretty sure. You can check those numbers later in the draft, but Matrix Warden, just the fact that you can put the attack wherever you want, makes it extremely relevant. So he's not really on the beatdown with that play. Can't necessarily complain about that. Alright, so he also Metasighted. So he's back ahead in the level game, but now we'll see where we can go from here. And I think I'm going to make a big Spark Bot. Leaves the Matrix Warden open to be pumped, and it'll kill this Aegis Conscript next turn, and he'd need a Matrix Warden pump of his own to save his or to at least trade with my Spark Bot. So obviously the A plan is we want to try and draw Patriarch, but if we can't, we have to just make sure that we have as much of good level cards as we can in our deck. The thoughts on playing Technosmith here doesn't look super exciting because I don't have a good third card in my deck. Oh, okay, so he's building this big guy. It's pretty interesting, actually. So he is going on the beatdown after playing Metasight, which seems very odd to me that he'd spend a spell to do that. That doesn't even 1 for 1. So I'm not exactly sure what this guy's doing. He's probably lining up a play where he's going to be able to put a Technosmith in front of my Sparkbot, which would be obviously very good on his end. But I'll go ahead and play the Lightbringer Cleric in the center and then Alpha to make sure I don't take too much damage. Obviously we have to look out for this late Alpha Jetpack game, but now at least this way, whichever way he's going to move his Conscript, it's going to die. Barring the Scythian augmentation, which there's not all that much I can do about. I'm not thrilled about playing this Alpha over Technosmith, because that means that Technosmith is effectively dead for the rest of the game, and the Alpha isn't really doing anything to address my plan. But I can't have him moving this Aegis Conscript dealing tons of damage throughout the whole game, because all it's going to take... The thing is, a level 3 Alpha and a Jetpack will deal like some absurd amount of damage, like 20... the high 20s, So I can't have that happen. Alright, so that's fine. I don't know why he would play Munitions Drone in front of this Matrix Warden when it's still going to be good for me. So now I get to play two guys that he's going to have to deal with, and he's probably going to end up taking 3 off the Matrix, well, 6 off the Matrix Warden. But we'll see if he can find an answer to this Delver soon, because it's going to get out of hand. Delver is obviously better earlier in the levels, but forcing him to use a level 2 to block this Delver will be very big if he can't deal with it this turn. And he cast an Energy Surge. I don't really know what this guy's doing. He seems like he's playing a lot of spells and not enough bodies. At least maybe he was digging for an answer. I don't know. If he didn't have that Dreadbolt in his opening hand, I can kind of see if he just had a bunch of bad creatures, but I feel like you still just have to lay out your hand. So now I get to play Matrix Warden and pump my Grove Matriarch and just start getting in there. We're going to throw Vault Tactician down. I have no center lane effective cards, so we can just go on this plan. Seeing Shardplate Delver on level 2 while he's got a full board to deal with is pretty exciting. So long as I have an open lane to put the Delver in and it's not going to be in front of one of his guys, then it looks very profitable for us. I can always replace the Alpha, because it's the only thing the Alpha is doing is preventing a lane where he can have an Alpha move into with a Jetpack. So if I can leave it, I'd like to leave it, but I don't have to. When you're facing down a deck that's going to be playing Jetpacks like this, you have to try and make sure your lanes are always full. So I'm going to replace the Alpha, and he's probably going to get free reign to kill my Matrix Warden, and then I'm going to have to stick another guy. But for right now, we're going to play Justicar, which we'll trade, but he's probably going to end up moving in front of the Matrix Warden. And we see our Patriarch in level 2, which isn't really going to do anything for us. Still probably going to level it, because it has such a high effectiveness in the later game. If you play a small creature, giving it the buff can sometimes get it there to kill whatever creature he's playing, because he's not always going to have perfect draws either, naturally. But see, this is what happens when you play so many spells in level 1. You just don't have any effective board state. So I don't know how he's going to come back from this. He has to deal with the Delver soon. Like, obviously he has Dreadbolt in his deck, so there's an answer for him on any turn. However, if he doesn't draw the Dreadbolt, and he doesn't have a 10 power guy to stick in front of the Delver, which he already used the Alpha, it seems like things will be fairly rough for him. Alright, so he drew the Spectre. This is a good draw from him. So we'll go ahead and level our Patriarch to block, and then we'll play Sparkbot just away. He's sitting at 41, he's got to deal with something. He's probably going to have to move the Spectre to block something. And then we have Grove Matriarch and Lightbringer Cleric, which both level very well and both are hard to deal with. He's played so many Munitions drones, I don't understand. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the Spectre. I still got a token, which is fine, and then play Lightbringer Cleric in the open lane. And he's got a full board of cards to deal with, and he's sitting at 20 life. Just seems very rough for him while he's still in level 2. I don't know what he can necessarily do about this. Not that it's relevant at all, but obviously that Energy Surge should have been played first to see if you draw something better than the Alpha to play. Gotta give him the STILLHADALLDEEZ. So we'll come back with game 2. Hopefully things will go smoothly. And I don't know, we're gonna shoot for that 3-0 obviously.